Hi, so today we're gonna go over chapter 11. We actually finished it, so I'm gonna pull up the pictures of the test. Okay, so number 1 says Fran drew a triangle with no congruent sides, so no sides the same, and one right angle. Which term accurately describes the triangle? Mark all that apply. So no sides are the same, so I know it's scalene, and there is a right angle, so it's a scalene right, so it's B. Jose stores his baseball cards in a box that's shown below. Use the numbers and symbols on the tiles to write a formula that represents the volume of the box. Symbols may be used more than once or not at all. So remember, volume equals length times width times height. So I'm going to use the volume equals 8 times 10 times 3. That's all you need to do. And this is what is the volume of the box? Quickly, I know 8 times 3 is 24, times 1 would be 24, add a 0. So you're going to have 240 cubic inches. Mr. Delgado sees the sign while he is driving. For A, B, and C, choose values in terms to correctly describe the shape he saw. The figure has 3 sides, I think that there's something wrong because they didn't finish the book doesn't say angles. I'm going to assume this is going to say angles. 3 angles. All of the sides are congruent. That means they're all the same. So the figure is a regular polygon. That's weird that the book didn't finish that. Okay. If I pull this up. Oh, that's it for that page. Okay, next page. What is the volume of the composed figure? Remember, you're going to figure out the volume of A, B, and C, and then we'll figure that out. So the first, if I do this one A, this one B, this one C. A is 3 by 1. And if that's length, oh, we just need the width. Well, and for the width, what we can do is figure this out. This whole thing is 2. This is 2. So we know, and that's 2, then we know this is 2. So the first one, A, would be 2 times 3 times 1. B is going to be 2 plus 2 would be 4. Because you see it would be both of those. It would be 4 times 1 times 3. And then C is going to be 6 times 1 times same thing 3. And we're going to multiply those and then add them up. Okay, so 2 times 3 times 1 is 6. 4 times 1 times 3 is 12. 6 times 1 times 3 is 18. So 18 plus 18 would be 36 feet cubed. Match the figure with what you see. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's count the bottom first. 1, 2, 3, and then we know there's going to be 6 on the bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, and we know there's 6 on the top. So that one is 12. And then this one, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we know on the bottom, and the top would have 6, but there's 2 missing, so that would be 10. Chuck is making a poster about polyhedrons for his math class. He will draw the figures and organize them in different sections. Chuck wants to draw 3-dimensional figures whose lateral faces are rectangles. He says he can draw prisms and pyramids. Do you agree? No. You can't. He can't draw a pyramid if there's lateral faces. So a pyramid faces are triangles. So the only thing he can include no pyramids, but he can have prisms. And you didn't know because no triangles in no triangle faces on a pyramid. Chuck says he can draw a cylinder on his polyhedron poster because it has a pair of bases that are concurrent. Is he correct? He's not correct because a cylinder is not a polyhedron because none of its surfaces are polygons. Remember, it has a circular base and it's curved, so it technically doesn't have sides. So that's why. Okay, let's do this next one. Javier drew a shape shown for 7A and B. Choose the values that make this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I must have counted wrong because how did I get 9? Let's make it a little bit bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That seems right. So it has 8 sides and 8 angles. The figure is a regular octagon because octa means 8. Find the volume. Remember, it's length times width times height. So 6 times 3 times 4. Quickly, I know 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 6, I quickly know, is 72. So it's going to be 72 cubic inches. Nathan drew a scaling obtuse triangle. Choose yes or no to indicate whether it's the triangle he drew. Okay, so he drew a scaling obtuse. You technically would need, probably would need a ruler to be sure. This is a right angle, so I know it's not C. I can see that this angle is obtuse, and I can see that this angle is obtuse, so A and B also work. I also can tell that they're scaling because their sides are not the same. I kind of cut off the statement. I'll have to read it to you. It says, a shipping crate holds 20 shoe boxes, the dimensions of the shoebox. So the shoebox would be 6 by 4 by 12. For A, B, and C, choose if it's true or false. Each shoebox has a volume of 22 cubic inches. I can quickly see 6 by 4 times 12 is not, I don't even have to multiply. I know it's not going to be 22. Each crate has a volume of 440. So remember, first I need to find the volume of the box, which quickly 6 times 4 is 24. So 24 times 12, or it lacks, I like to just do single digit. So let's do 12 times 6 is 72. 72 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7 is 28, so 288, and it's saying that each box would be 288, and then you're going to multiply by 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 would be 17. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 would be 5, and you're going to add a 0. So it's definitely not going to be that. And if the crate could hold 27 boxes, the volume would be 7,776. So let's just do 288 times 27. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 8 is 56. 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 6 would be 20. Put a 0, cross those out. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5,000. So when I add that up, I get 7,776. So that is true. Mario is making a diagram that shows the relationship between the different kinds of quadrilaterals. each quadrilateral on a lower level can be described as a quadrilateral above. Complete the diagram. So a quadrilateral, then it would be a trapezoid, and a quadrilateral has 4 sides. A trapezoid has 4 sides. A parallelogram has 4 sides that are both two congruent parallel sides. Oh, basically saying make everything a square is. So a square we know is, what makes it a square would be it's a rhombus, all 4 sides are the same. The other thing it would need here would be a rectangle. But we know it's not going to be a triangle. It's kind of a silly question. So that one would be what you don't use. I did a bad job of taking these pictures. I kind of cut off with the directions where it says, write the letter in the box that correctly describes the shape. A prism, remember. Excuse me, I was trying not to sneeze. I sneeze really weird. Okay. A prism, we know that the bases are the same. So I can see that B and C are both going to be prisms. And what makes a pyramid is it meets at an apex. So that would be A and D. Mark packed 1-inch cubes into a box with a volume of 120 centimeters. How many levels did he pack? So volume would be length times width times height. I know that the volume is going to be 120. I know that the length is 8, and I can see that the width, it's really hard to see in this picture. I'm going to look on my book. It looks like the width is 3, so that would be 24. So 120 divided by 24, which I hope works out. Or I lied to you. Let's see, 24 can't go into 1, can't go into 12. Let's think of this as 25. 25, 50, 75, 100. 125 would be 5. Let's try 5 times 24 times 5. That's a 4. Sorry, guys. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 would be 120. That worked out. So the missing height would be 5. So it would be 5 layers. And then find the composite. So remember, we would just break this up. I'm going to break it up here. So we know this would be A and B. So this was going to be 10 by 6 by 4. And we know this shape, well, the whole thing is 7, and this is 4 over here. So that one's going to have a height of 3, a width of 4, and I just need to figure out this, which we know is the same as that 6. So quickly, I know 4 times 6 is 24, times 10 would be 240. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 6, or times 6 would be 72. So 240 plus 72, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 312. So it'd be 312 cubic centimeters. And this is our last one for today. Yes, okay. So it says, write the name of the quadrilateral from the list to complete the statement. A blank is always parallel. Is always a parallelogram. That would be a rectangle. I'm just going to put RECT to make it fit. A blank is always a rhombus. That would be a square. Square is also always a parallelogram too. A blank is sometimes a parallelogram. That would be a trapezoid. Because remember, a trapezoid has at least one pair of parallel lines, but it could have 2. Megan's aquarium is always a parallelogram. That would be a rectangle. Because a rectangle isn't always a rhombus, so it wouldn't work there. Megan's aquarium has a volume of 4,320 cubic inches, which could be the dimensions. Mark all that applies. So we have to multiply all of these out to see which ones give me 4,320. 16 by 16 by 18. 16 times 16. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 would be 9. Put a 0, cross it out. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. When I add that up, so we have 256 times, I believe it was 18. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 would be 44. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Cross those out, put a 0. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. When I add that up, I get 4608, which is not what I want. The next one is 14 by 18 by 20, which first let's just do 14 by 18. 14 times 18. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1 is 8. 9, 10, 11. Put a 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. When I get that, and then we're just going to multiply that by 2. Put a 0. That does not work. 12 by 15 by 24. So let's do 12 times 15. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 1 plus, or 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. Put a 0, cross that out. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. Now I'm going to multiply 180 times 24. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4. 5, 6, 7. Put a 0, cross that out. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 1 plus 1 would be 3. When I add that up, that one works. The last one is 8 by 20 by 27. 8 times 20, well, 8 times 2 is 16. So let's do 16 times 27 and add a 0. So 16 times 27. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. Put a 0. 2 times 6 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Feel like I did something wrong here. Did I do something wrong? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, let's try that one more time. 2 times 6 is, put 0. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, the 1, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we add that 0, so that one also works. Ken keeps paper clips in the box. Each side is 3 cubic inches. What's the volume of the box? So 3 by 3 by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So it's 27 cubic inches. Monica uses 1-inch cubes to make the rectangular prism shown above, or shown. For 8A to 8D, write the value that makes each statement true. Each value can be used more than once or not at all. So each cube has a volume of 1 by 1 by 1, which would be 1. So it's saying it's a cubic inch. Each layer is made up of 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, each layer. So the layer would be base times the length times the width, which would be 20. There are 3 layers, so that would make it have a volume of 60, because 4 times 5 would be 20, times 3 would be 60. And that's it. So we have finished chapter 11. Good job, guys.